Hi folks, CodeTutor here and my name is Anil Deshpande. Welcome to another video on Android unit testing. In the previous video, we have gone through how to write various kinds of assert statements like assert null, assert not null, assert same, not same, throws, array equals. That was a very basic introduction to different kinds of assert statements to get started with. Now we will move beyond that. Let's first start with moving classes that are under test. We have these two classes. One is a data class called country and another one is an object, country filter. And we are actually testing these classes in the country filter test. But ideally speaking, these things should not be here. Ideally would be part of actual code base. And if you look at it right now, it is part of Kotlin file, which is under test package. So the first thing that we will do is we will move this to the actual ideal place where you should place these things. So let me go to the project view here and under main, let me create a directory structure. Directory structure would be something like java/com/CodeTutor unit testing basics and do the enter. Under this, I will create another sub package. Let me call it as model. And here under the model, let me create Kotlin file country. And I will move this data class under the country. Of course, you will start seeing the compilation errors after removing that. That we will fix by fixing the imports. And in the same way, this country filter, we will have to move. Let me move it to another package, repository. Here, let me create this file, country filter, enter. Once again, let me move it here. There will be once again compilation errors. I will have to fix the imports. And that's it. So now our class is factored to an extent that the classes that are under test, that is country filter and country, have now been moved out of test package. Now if I go back to the Android view, you will see that now these things are under the model and repository as a part of the main application's source code. Now let us just have a relook at the first test case, which is testing test filter by drive side -left. And why I have used -left is we are trying to test it for left. Later point in time, if I want to test by passing right, then probably I will write -right. And then if I want to test it by passing the middle, then probably I will write another test case with _middle. You already see a pattern there. The pattern is I am unnecessarily repeating myself in each of these test cases, which can be avoided. If I am trying to test similar things, instead of writing multiple test cases, is there a possibility of writing one test function and then passing multiple parameters to that particular test case? And that's exactly what we are going to learn. The concept is called as parameterized test cases, and we will have a look at how to do that. So instead of writing multiple test cases with left and right, I will create a separate class. Let me call it as parameterized country filter test, and then I will annotate it with run with parameterized class. So this indicates that it will use JUnit's parameterized runner. Let me just write it side by side so that you will understand how the code is getting refactored. And if you think about it, we are going to test country filter by passing a certain value and expecting a certain value. So you should pass two things. One, the input parameter, and the second one, the expected value. Those are the two parameters that you will have to pass. And that is the reason why this parameterized country filter test will have parameters such as private value drive side, which is a string, and then private value expected count, and it is a integer. So these are the two values that will be passed as parameterized value. Now inside this particular class, you will have to define the list of parameters that you want to pass to this particular test case. Before we do that, let me just copy paste the setup and tear down, because that would be the same. I will even have the country list. So the setup and tear down, that is before and after functions, are one and the same. And then we will have to write a companion object. This companion object contains a static function. Let me just show you how this looks first, and then I will explain it to you. So I will write companion object, and inside the companion object, I will write a function data, which returns a collection of array of any, and inside this you define what are the parameters. So it would be return list of array of left, that is the drive side, and then expected value 2, because in the setup there are 2 left drive side countries. So for the left, what is the expected value? That is what it means. And for right, it has to be 1. And then array of middle, it will be 0. So these are the parameters with which you want to test your filter by drive side functionality. But then this is not good enough. You will have to write JVM static followed by parameterized parameters. Right now, let me keep it empty. So what is the JVM static? It is used for making the method callable in the static context, and parameterized parameters is used for annotating the function that contains the collection of parameter arrays that will be passed in parameterized test class. Now let us go down and write actual test case. So let me just remove this. Let me come down here. I will write test function test filter by drive side. Instead of writing left and right, I will write parameterized, and then inside this I can write val result is equal to country filter dot filter by drive side countries, and then instead of passing left or right, I will use this drive side, because that will be passed as the parameter. And then next I will write assert equals, the first parameter is expected count, that is this value, and the second parameter is result dot size. So right now let me comment it out, the middle one, and if I run this, let us see what happens. You are seeing test filter by drive side hyphen parameterized 0 and parameterized 1. So the same function got executed twice. So let me put a breakpoint and see what exactly is happening. Let me debug this. Drive side left expected count 2. So the first parameter got introduced into the test function. Let me resume the code. Now if you see, second time drive side right expected count 1, that is second parameters got introduced into the test function, and that is exactly what you are seeing here. It shows that it ran with parameterized 0, that is the 0th index, and then this one, the first index. Of course, you can clearly see that this is not really helping to identify what exactly is happening. So to address this, one of the better convention that we follow is we write name. We give a name to the test run that is happening. For example, we can say something like drive side. Drive side is the 0th index parameter, so I can use 0, and expected count is in the index 1. And now if I run this, you will observe that you are getting that particular message, drive side left expected count 2, instead of seeing index 0 and 1. This is much more readable than what was there earlier. Now when I pass middle, it should throw a exception. Let me show you what do I mean by it should throw an exception. Let me go to the country filter. If it is not left or right, then it should throw an exception with invalid drive side. And if you recall, in the earlier code base, we had tested it using assert throws. We can do that in the same parameterized test. How? Let me show you. So the drive side contains left, right, and if it is middle, then I can control how the test case can run. So if drive side is equal to middle, then I want to handle it in a different way. Else I want to run this part of the code. Now let me go to the middle part. Let me see, can I simply copy paste this? Yeah, Control C, Control V. And now if you run this, you run the same test function thrice with 3 different parameters. You are not repeating your code again and again, and you are testing similar functionalities by passing different parameters to the same test function. And this is what is parameterized testing means. So that's it in this particular video. In the next video, we will explore a couple of more different samples to demonstrate the parameterized testing. So stay tuned. That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.